Hey guys, how you doing? It's John, Game Changer, Reframe Your Game, and CEO of the Goyak Group. Hey, today's a quick one, kind of pressed for time, but wanted to get one out to y'all. And it's on the same topic about who shows up, and that's kind of been the theme for the week. But today's reading in Brunson's.com Secrets is focused on click funnels. And a funnel is simply a way of thinking about how you draw your people into your, start to get them into your domain, and how you continue to provide upgraded value so that they spend more money with you and keep on spending money with you as you mature your relationship with them. And so the interesting point he made sticks out to me today is that he said start at the end. It occurred to me that's kind of the way you do everything, isn't it? You start with the end state in mind. And it's so often that people don't do that. And what happens is they start building a house, then they ask for the cement blocks to be delivered or the cinder blocks to be delivered, and they ain't got any plans. So you get a no house or a pretty crappy looking house starting that way. So if you really get clear about where you want to be, where your end state is, where you want to be in 3 years if you're doing a strategic plan, where you want to be your business in a year, whatever it is, get very clear and definite about that, and then back off from there to determine exactly what must happen. And think in those terms. Must is the most empowering term in the world, man. What must I do to make that happen? Because once I do that, then I have power. Because I know what absolutely must happen. I know what stuff is just bullshit and I'm going to kick off the table, and I'm not going to let it in the game. And I know, by the way, when I do that, then I have absolute clarity of the progress it's going to take from where I am now to get to where I want to be, because I have a clear vision about where I want to be. So let me ask you this. If you built your plan that way, if you built your briefings that way, if you built your sales pitches that way, how do you think you'd come across? Would you come across with greater clarity? Would you get to your points quicker? Would you make your points more powerfully? Think about it. If you start, how many of you have built a briefing? Said, yeah, I got to have build a briefing on this. I got 30 minutes to do this topic. And so what happens? We all just start on page one, PowerPoint, title sheet, and then start building shit. I got to tell you that always is frustrating. That always, it leads to endless recycles. So what he said, okay, what does this thing really have to do? What do I really have to convince this customer? What do I really have to demonstrate I understand or know? And what would that look like? What would I have to do to make that happen? What must I do to get him to that point? And so now you got something that kind of helps you outline your pitch. It tells you what's in the thing and not what's out, so you're not going through just having stuff end up on the cutting room floor like most briefings do. And you're very clear on your message, you're very clear on your outcome, and you build a hell of a briefing. The same with any project you do. If I'm building a schedule for a complex program, I start at the end. What has to happen? What's this thing look like in the end? What are the things that must occur as I go through there? And as you start to back off, you'll find that some things don't fit. Wow, that'd be nice to know. And the things that don't fit are things you can prioritize. You can say, well, I need to build a risk reduction plan to go accommodate that, or I got to find an alternate supplier or technology, and I build it that way. It's a thinking man's game. Instead of building on push, it says we're gonna go like hell and do the best we can with what we got, and we'll get there. And unfortunately, that's the way so many plans are built, and so many people's lives are built that way. Think about it. If you said, here's what I want to be in a year, and you really said, okay, what would have to happen over the course of this year to get me there, that I'm going to do in situ, whether I'm an entrepreneur or I'm in a company or whatever, this is where I want to be. This is where I must be. And if you start living on the imperative must, you'd be surprised at who shows up. And if you're absolutely clear about it, you're going to be much more clear and have much more power than all the other guys around you, because they don't have that sort of clarity, power, or vision. So get real. Get focus on the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. Start tomorrow. Where do you want to be by the end of tomorrow? Just start to build that muscle, and you'd be surprised at how powerful you become, and how you get to be where you want to be, need to be, and you'll blow by where you need to be once you start doing this, because it'll become just a solid core muscle. And so, really encourage you to do that, and take it on for a real challenge here for the next month or so. Just do it. Be surprised. And we've had people, there are people who've said, okay, here's my ideal woman, here's my life. And went down in very specific terms about, her likes, dislikes, what she looks like, all this sort of stuff. And what happens is you get so clear that you start seeing a woman like that. And because you know exactly where she hangs out. You know exactly what she does because you've already thought it through here. You've put it on paper. You've committed it to this is what I must have, and you get clarity. It's just like if you walk into a gym, and excuse the uh, shakiness of the camera here. I've got it attached to my crutch. Uh, so, but you know, when you go to the gym, you don't go to the gym and say, "Yeah, I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups." No, when you have a better plan, when you have better results, if you said, "Okay, okay, I'm where I am, but here's what I want to be in a year. I want to be able to go compete in a competition. I want to go do something like that." And that, if once you start backing off from what that state looks like, what you look like, what your lap times are, whatever metric that you want to measure yourself by, you'll be able to define a program that gets you there. Because you know, well, if I want to do that, I need to be able to run a 10K in 4 months. I need to be able to do this. So you start building it backwards, and then you get it. What happens is you have a very clear plan that you own, that you've thought through, that you've locked into mentally, and that you're very clear on. And clarity is power, man. It's the way it plays. All right, with that, John, Game Changer, reframe your game. You guys have a blessed day. See you. Bye.